Alright everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's Matty here from Chill TCG. Today, we're doing another meta analysis. We got a past week of great tournaments. A lot of different things to take a look at, a bunch of deck lists. Today, that's what we do here on this new weekly tournament series, or not tournament series, video series here on YouTube. We're going to be doing our weekly meta analysis. Before we get into that though, I want to let you guys know that tomorrow night is the first Chill Series tournament of our brand new season number 4, and that is Chill Series number 30. This is going to be one of the biggest, baddest, best prize support Chill Series tournaments of all time. We're kicking off season 4 strong. It's 100% free to play, free to enter, and we have 400 Battle Styles packs in the prize pool, so phenomenal prize support from our sponsors here at PTCGO Zone. So definitely go check it out. Link to register will be down in the description below. Definitely go check out Chill Series number 30. I really cannot wait. Again, tomorrow night, 6 p.m., Wednesday, 6 p.m. It's going to be absolutely sweet. You might be watching this on Wednesday, so maybe it's tonight. Definitely go check it out. All right, getting right into it. We are here on dinodata.app. Dinodata is a great website where it breaks down all the analytics and all the statistics from the Play.Limitless tournament platform. Makes it a little bit easier for us to see the actual data. We're going to get into the deck lists and actually go to Limitless and look at all the tournaments in a sec. But before we do that, we're just going to take a look at here. This is the meta analysis, the deck breakdown by placement from the past week here that we're going to be taking a look at May 3rd through May 10th. So right now, this is looking at top 16 finishes. Of course, ADPization way up there at 35. Win rate 74.2%, 35 of them up here, and then right below them is Luke Metalization with 29, with very, very similar win rates. Now, ADPization has played a lot more than Luke Metal, but just seeing Luke Metal this high up there does kind of say a lot about the deck. And then we have Blacephalon, which is really just Tempo Zard, and I think that this is also probably the best Welder deck in the format right now, so it makes sense. Although Welder decks are definitely really divided, which is a big reason why we're probably going to see a lot of them up here, but Tempo Zard definitely really, really good. And then we also have E-Turn up there, and E-Turn has been doing really, really well recently, with sort of the decline of Rapid Strike Urshifu since all of the Mewtwo decks have been showing up recently. Right under E-Turn, we have Mewtwo and Mew. So Mewtwo, Mew, and this is, I guess, the psychic version of Mewtwo and Mew. Very good deck, very phenomenal deck. Kind of a harder deck to play, but the win rate's been really good, and it's up here as well. And then we have Rapid Strike Urshifu, and then we have Grass, Mewtwo, Pikarom, Green Zard, Victini, and then we actually have Orbeetle, Centiskorch, Control, Dragapult, all these other things. So this is the breakdown by top 16s. If we just take a look at overall, so these are just the decks that people are playing. We can see that ADPization up here, just by far the most played deck, and then Luke Metal, and then Rapid Strike Urshifu. Those are the most played decks by their count. And then we have Pikarom, Mad Party, Victini, Green Zard. So this is kind of the distribution of decks that people are actually playing in the format right now. And if we look at decks that have actually won tournaments in the past week, 4 ADP winners, 2 E-Turn winners, 2 Blacephalon winners, 2 Rapid Strike Urshifu winners, and only 1 Mewtwo Mew, Pikarom, Luke Metal, Mad Party, Grass Mewtwo. So these are the decks that have actually won tournaments in this past week, and definitely pretty interesting to see, for sure. I know ADPization had a big week. It won Limitless and won Chill all in the same week. Big reason why it's pretty high up this week for sure. All right. Now let's go take a look at, what should we take a look at, I suppose? We can take a look at decks. Is this the way we do it? No. This is not the page we want. Tournament analysis tab. Yeah. I guess that's all we're going to probably take a look at this point. These are the countries that are participating in these tournaments. So US is definitely the majority here. Brazil, Japan, Canada, Italy, UK, all that good stuff. All right, anyway, we're going to hop on over to play.limitless.com. This is where we're going to see all the deck lists, take a look at all the tournaments here. We're going to go to the completed tab, and we're going to scroll down a bit. So it looks like the first one that we're going to be taking a look at from May 3rd and onward is going to be, well, I guess we can immediately take a look at Chill Series Last Chance Qualifier. This was a tournament that we probably covered anyway here on the channel, but we might as well just cover it real quick. 355 players. Taking a look at the metagame, ADPization way up there, Luke Metal pretty high up there, and we have E-Turn, Blacephalon, Zard, Mewtwo, Mew, Pikarom. So this is kind of very similar to what we saw on Dinodata in terms of just the overall metagame and what people are playing. Very indicative of what it looks like here at Chill, and it really was no different. Rapid Strike Urshifu was a bit low, though. Mad Party, Mewtwo, Rillaboom. So this was sort of the distribution of decks. However, if we go to standings, we can just take a look here. So I think I covered the top 16 deck lists anyway, to be 100% honest with you, so I probably won't go over this too quickly. However, I do just want to go ahead and take a look at the winning deck list real quick. And this was a video. This was a deck that I actually made a video on recently. My most recent ADP video was on this deck list here. And this was a very similar list that won Limitless the week or a few days, after Chill Series. So straight ADPization had a really good week. In my eyes, it is probably one of the best decks right now. ADP is one of those decks that can just pop off and win. But most people are kind of running max consistency ADP here. No hammers. We're just going all in on the cards that we like to play. 4 Metal Saucers, 4 Energy Switch, 4 Cherish Balls, 2 Spinners, Great Catcher, 4 Boss. We're running 4 Zacian, 3 Dedenne. I do like that. I think that's smart. 2 Air Balloon, 1 Rusted Sword, 2 Swells as well. 2 Chaotic Swells seems kind of crazy. 1 Escape Rope. And then, of course, the normal energy count. So, yeah, I mean, this was sort of similar. I mean, this one, Chill Series, it won Limitless. This deck is absolutely phenomenal. We can just take a look at the deck that won Limitless for sure. I'm not going to spend too much time on Chill Series just because we did do a separate video on it where we covered the top 16 deck lists. So you guys can go check that out for sure. Yeah, we're gonna move on. We're gonna take a look at other tournaments for sure because again, this is sort of the reason of the point of the video for sure. Okay, so next up is the Limitless Weekly, which was 3 days after Chill Series. Also had over 300 players, 336 players. So definitely going to be pretty interesting to take a look at here. Plenty of good lists to take a look at. ADP did win. We're going to take a look at his ADP list, and we're going to see that it's almost exactly the same, except a few things are a bit different here. We actually are running an Oricorio GX on top of all the other Pokemon that we typically run in the list. And that's interesting. It's just more draw support. Realistically, it's good to just have that down. After your ADP gets knocked out, you can draw an extra 3 cards, and that's really going to be the difference, especially after we Crobat, Dedenne, and Research. Moving through a lot of our deck here. The only other difference, I believe, here, just taking a look at it, we're running 2 Switch and 2 Escape Rope instead of like a 4-1, which I think the last deck was running, or a 3-1. So other than that, everything is pretty similar here. He's also only running 1 Chaotic Swell instead of 2, but you can tell that this is just maybe even a more consistent ADP version with the extra draw support from Oricorio GX. And this is kind of seeing a lot of traction as well. But you can see how the archetype in the overall list is almost exactly the same, and that's kind of a big reason why ADP is seeing a lot of hype. It won 2 massive tournaments this past week. And people don't like it, but ADP is still phenomenal. It's still really good. These cards are going to be rotating out soon for the most part. A lot of the cards in this deck are going to be rotating out soon. So ADP's Reign of Terror should be ending relatively soon. However, it's still around for now, and it's still seeing a lot of success. So here it is. This was the deck that also won Limitless. Very similar. Very similar. But in finals, it did match up against Rapid Strike Urshifu, which in my opinion actually has a pretty even matchup against ADP. We haven't taken a look at a Rapid Strike Urshifu list in a little while now, but this seems to be a pretty standard version. It is the Scoop Up Net Jirachi version. We're running a 4-3 Urshifu lineup, 2 Dedenne, 1 Crobat for Jira support on top of the Jirachis. It makes this deck, feel very consistent for sure. We're running 1 Zigzagoon, good with Scoop Up Nets. It just kind of works a lot, especially on E-turn. You need that extra damage counters paired with Martial Arts Dojo. You're hitting for 160 twice. That's 320. Maybe just 330 or whatever you need to kind of get the upper hand against a lot of the VMAX decks with the 2-hit KOs. Zigzagoon's going to be really important. Jirachi GX is going to turn off your Psychic weakness, Mew to protect your bench from other Urshifus, from Pikarom, from Inteleon, from a lot of different decks. And then we have a Mewtwo to shuffle supporters back and Mimikyu, which is going to be really good against those Mewtwo decks. So all stuff that I really like here, although they are running Stealthy Hood a lot of times, which does kind of protect you from Mimikyu. But yeah, other than that, everything is pretty normal here. 4 Marnie, 4 Research, 3 Boss. We've got 4 Switch, 4 Quick Ball, 4 Scoop Up Nets, 3 Pokemon Communications, extra Pokemon Search. We've got 1 Stamp, 1 Escape Rope, 1 Great Catcher, 1 Tool Scrapper as well, which I think is really good because of all the Stealthy Hoods. If we can Tool Scrapper off those Stealthy Hoods off the Mewtwo's, we have Mimikyu there. We can pretty much just win the matchup outright. So definitely a pretty good inclusion in the deck. And we have also 1 Air Balloon. So plenty of switching options between 4 Switch, 1 Escape Rope, 1 Air Balloon, 4 Scoop Up Nets. We should be able to switch in and out pretty consistently. 2 Dojos, and then we're running 9 Energies, 5 Basics, 2 Rapid Strike Energies. I like it. I mean, I think Rapid Strike Urshifu is really good. I think the meta with all the Luke Metals and Mewtwo running around definitely isn't kind to Rapid Strike Urshifu. People are playing decks that are good against this deck because this deck is, in fact, very, very good, which is a big reason why it's being countered so heavily in the format, which, obviously makes sense. So, yeah. But here it is, Rapid Strike Urshifu. Got second at Limitless. It's still really, really good. It's still really consistent, so no surprise there. We've got E-turn here that actually got third, so we can take a look at this E-turn list, see if we get anything different here. Okay, so it's just E-turn hammers. Some things to note that people are running an E-turn a lot these days is the 1 Phoebe count. At least, I think a lot of decks are running an extra way to get the Phoebe back, like they potentially could be running a Palpad or a Sableye to shuffle the Phoebe back into their deck, which is probably pretty smart because a lot of times one Phoebe isn't enough even for Luke Metal if they get double Zamazenta down on the board. But other than that, we're running a 4-4-4 lineup here between the Eterns, Crobat, Goon, 2 Spiritombs as an alternate attacker, 4 Boss, 4 Research, 3 Marnie, the Phoebe. So we are running Hammers. It is Etern Hammers. And another thing I want to mention is the fact that we're running a Tool Jammer. And Tool Jammer is definitely a really good card in Etern because it turns off the item cards of your opponent. So if they're playing Big Charm or Air Balloon or Stealthy Hood or whatever it might be, a lot of times Mewtwo decks are going to run Big Charm, or just decks in general are going to be running tool cards that are going to facilitate that or help them live a 270 hit from Etern. Tool Jammer is going to help for sure from that. Also has a good interaction, I think. Well, it kind of auto-wins Spiritomb if you ever play Spiritomb. I'm just trying to think what else it could be doing. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, but it's definitely going to be really good. I'm just trying to think. I really can't think of anything else that Tool Jammer works with, or is there specifically for, but I know Tool Jammer is really cool, and it's becoming really popular in Etern. Running 10 energies as well, 8 darks, 2 weak guards. So, good Etern list, got third at the tournament. Pretty standard, I think, what people are running for Etern these days. So we actually had a single strike Urshifu get top 4 at this tournament, and we probably don't get to see single strike Urshifu too often, but this is a really cool list. One of my favorites for sure. And yeah, I mean, we're running the 4-4 Houndooms, 4-3 Urshifu lineup. I mean, these are the Pokemon that we want to just populate our bench with. We even have a Stonjourner in there, and I think this is probably just for that single prize attacker. We are weak to grass, which is really not good because you're just going to get bodied by Decidueye, but I guess it's there. You can start one-shotting a Decidueye if you need to. Just a little bit awkward for sure. But yeah, 1 Stonjourner, 1 Dedenne, 1 Jirachi GX to get rid of your Psychic weakness. Again, your Mewtwo matchup is still going to be a bit sketchy. And we actually have a Fion as well. But yeah, some things that you typically see in single strike Urshifu are the high count of Vitality. Just because we were shuffling through these 4 Rapid Strike energies pretty rapidly, and we can search them from our deck with Houndoom, so it's okay if we can just consistently keep them in our deck. Tower of Darkness and Single Strike Scroll of Scorn. These are 2 cards that are really good in the deck. We typically see more than just a 1 of each, but definitely interesting. And actually 4 Capture energies with 3 basic fighting. I actually like that. We want to get these Houndourers down on our board as consistent as possible. I think that this list here is actually really, really good. And it might not be a super high tier deck in terms of just consistency and matchup spread, but I do think that it has a lot of potential. And if you're looking to run a deck right now that's fun, that's extremely powerful, really good, but maybe not like a super meta deck right now in the format, this could be a really good option for you. Because it's definitely possible to see a lot of success with this deck, but at the same time, you're not going to be playing the same thing that everyone else is playing. So I really like this. I really do. I'm going to save this one. I'm going to probably play it on the ladder a little bit, try to get those Mewtwo and Mews off the ladder rewards. So definitely super interesting for sure. All right, what else can we take a look at? We have a Psychic Mewtwo. We got Azul here playing, what is this, Green Zard? So we can take a look at that as well. So I think that maybe we just, yeah, let's take a look at this Green Zard list. I don't know if we saw one recently as well. This is the similar Green Zard to what we saw previously, except he is running the 1 Break Zard, as well as on top of the Reshis and the 4 Volcanions. So in typical other Green Zard lists, we were just running the Volcanion and Reshiram and Charizard, but I do think that breaks in Charizard GX is a really good inclusion into the deck. Going to make it that much more consistent as well. Crimson Pillar GX. He's really good against Luke Metal as well in the mirror matchup, just to accelerate a bunch of energies on your Pokemon after they full Metal Wall you or whatnot. So going to be a really good option for sure. I like this deck. I do. I mean, you have all these different one-ofs, all these different options in cards that you can search up with greens. And if you're not searching up stuff, right, if you have everything you need for that turn, we can weld our energies on. I like the 2 Power Plants on the with the Giant Swell. It's interesting, but definitely going to help in that Mewtwo matchup since Mewtwo is so popular right now in the format. The Big Charms, Heat Energies to boost our HP with Malilana. And we also have, of course, what is it? Where is it? Great Potion. Just to kind of heal more and be a little bit more tanky. The Tag Switch is also pretty cool. This list is really awesome. It's a kind of a high skill gap deck, personally, I think. So not something that I would typically play very often. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but it sees a lot of success, and high-level players do really well with it. And it's a deck that I really like for sure. So really cool to see that performing fairly well. Dax PTCG was playing, I think this is Control. Yeah, so this is the Alolan Muck Control. We've seen 2 different control archetypes. The Excadrill Handlock Control is really good. This Alolan Muck, Munchlax sort of Altaria control deck He's got A-Palm thrown in here, which is really cool. This is also another viable option for Control. Control's not super good, especially in these sort of like timed best of one matches, rapid matches throughout the night type tournaments, like chill, like Limitless. So they don't typically see as much success as they did in our invitational tournament, which was a best of three double elimination bracket tournament without real match timers. And that's the reason why it ended up winning our invitational, which we'll actually take a look at his list in a second. But yeah, here it is. Just one of the ways that we can actually pick Control in this format. A little bit less viable in these sort of quick, rapid-paced tournaments, but definitely super cool to see. And I don't really know too much about it, but you guys can just appreciate it and take a look at it and absorb this info. It's not going to be like one of the top contenders of our format, to be 100% honest with you, but it is playable, and it has seen some recent success, which I kind of think is pretty cool. All right. So we're going to move off Limitless for now. We might come back to it. We're going to take a look at the Sunday Open, which was the day after Limitless, of course, on Sunday, with 170 players. I ended up being won by Caleb Rogerson, who actually won our Chill Series Invitational as well, so he had a phenomenal week. Big shout out to Caleb. He actually won with Tempo Zard, so we can take a look at his Tempo Zard list. His Blacephalon Reshi Zard, as Limitless likes to call it. And this is a very standard list. I mean, it's very typical, very normal, and everything here I seem to like a lot. What we see more with this list is instead of two Reshis, we're running Heatran and Reshi. They both kind of have different options for different reasons. Both are separately good for their own purposes, and I do like that. We still have two Blacephalon and only one Cramorant actually, so we can see that the Cracephalon list has sort of evolved. And if you're someone who play Tempo Zard, if you play Welder, this is by far, in my opinion, the most consistent version of the deck, the most powerful, and definitely the most winning version of Welder lists right now in our current format. Again, almost all of these cards are rotating out in a couple months after rotation, so that's something to keep in mind. But for right now, this list is super powerful, and I wouldn't be surprised if it slowly went up and trended up in the next few weeks, and quickly became one of the best decks in the format. But yeah, everything here is pretty normal. It really is. I mean, I think that the Mew and the Marshadow are somewhat new inclusions, but they're definitely really good. We're running 4 Scoop Up Nets, so you might as well run Zigzagoon. 4 Jirachis, all that good stuff. 4 Fire Crystal, 14 Energies, 4 Giant Hearth. We're playing those cards so that we can rapidly accelerate energy into our hand, as well as onto our Pokemon with the 4 Welders. And that's going to be the big way that we do a lot of damage with Heatran, with Blacephalon, with Reshi. And that's what this deck likes to do. It likes to survive, kind of chill for a bit, and then just start getting massive KOs mid to late game. It can be a really powerful comeback deck in a really powerful list. So big shout out to Caleb. Caleb had a phenomenal week. I mean, won 2 massive tournaments. So definitely pretty cool to see. ADP did get second, though. Should we just quickly take a look at his ADP list? See if there's anything that stands out here. Okay, so it's more closer to the one that won Limitless than the one that won Chill Series. But instead, we are actually running a Leon and a Skyla in here, which is very interesting. And we're running, I think, one less Cherish Ball. Yeah, other than that, everything is kind of normal. We do have the Oricorio in here. So again, max consistency ADP. We have so many different ways to search out the cards we need. We're running one less Dedenne, which I guess is what Skyla was put in for, which is interesting. But Skyla seems really good in ADP because if you do find your Skyla as your supporter for the turn, you could potentially grab, I don't know, Energy Switch or Saucer or E-Spin or whatever the pieces that you need to finish maybe that quick combo to get the multiple energies on ADP for the Altered Creation GX. So I do think Skyla is pretty good. It's pretty commonly played in ADP. It's not super commonly played, but it is pretty cool, pretty successful. And here is just yet another kind of way to play ADP. All similar lists. I mean, people are just kind of putting 1 or 2 cards, sprinkling it in here, kind of changing, 2 or 3 cards in the list. But for the most part, it's just a consistent. It's a consistent version of ADP, which aims to just get its game plan off as quickly and as prominently as possible, which I do think is really cool and definitely probably pretty good. So big shout out to the ADP there. Yeah, so second in the tournament. All right, what do we still kind of need to take a look at this week? Nothing too different. There aren't a lot of variety in terms of the decks. Like what we saw last week for the meta-analysis is probably going to be pretty similar to what we saw this week. We can take a look at this guy here, Jared Bailey, and he's playing Rapid Urshifu, but it's the Cinccino version, which is actually sort of an alternate version of the deck, which I guess sort of started to gain a little bit of traction earlier on. When Urshifu came out, but most people just sort of realized the Jirachi Scoop Up Net engine was better. But what we see here is actually a mix between the two because we are running 4 Scoop Up Nets and 2 Jirachis, but we also have the Cincinos, which I do think kind of clutters the deck a little bit, makes it a little bit more complex than it needs to be. Honestly, it's 6 cards in your deck that you're just taking out for other stuff, but the Make-A-Do draw engine from Cinccino can be really good, and And I think it's interesting that people are kind of mixing the two archetypes here. But I think this is just another way to play Urshifu. We see the Cheryl in here and the Phoebe. And those are kind of supporters that see quite a bit of play in Urshifu as well. Phoebe doesn't necessarily help that much against things like Luke Metal, but I suppose they could help in some scenarios. It just doesn't seem that viable. But the Cheryl can be really clutch, especially in the mirror matchup. After you G-Max Rapid Flow, you get hit. You can just Cheryl all your HP back, and then, of course, you can just set up for another Gale Thrust. So I like Cheryl a lot. In Urshifu, I think it's underrated for sure. I would like to see more Cheryl in Urshifu, but it is what it is. Yeah, I think I've said it is what it is like 10 times already in the video, so I apologize. But yeah, here you go, another way to play Urshifu. I like the Giratina as well. I think Giratina is really good with all the special energies that people are playing. What else can we maybe take a look at? We haven't taken a look at Psychic Mewtwo. Let's take a look at the higher placing one, the third placing one. Third place Psychic Mewtwo here. Galaxy Mewtwo, JIT, whatever you want to call it. It's just Psychic Mewtwo with some Aurora energies in there, utilizing some other, type attackers like Vileplume, Reshi, Giratina, things like that. Yeah, I mean, it's really good. It's really good. What you see a lot of times is Latios GX being teched in here, so we can clear Vision GX on our first turn going second. We can even Tag Purge, do a lot of really good stuff. We also have 2 Jirachi GXs because Star Search is so phenomenal in a lot of matchups. Yeah, I mean, it's a consistent list. It's a good list. I mean, the 4 Marnies up in here, we're not actually running any reset stamps in this list, which I don't necessarily agree with. I think that reset stamp is like very, very good and very necessary, but 2 Chaotic Swells, 4 Marnies, and the Night Watch attack can be very disruptive to our opponents. The Horror energies go extremely well with Giratina's Calamitous Slash attack, which does 240 if there are any damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon. So if they hit you, right, and you have 1 or 2 Horror energies on, they're taking 20 to 40 damage. If they do take 40 damage, you can come back and Calamitous Slash them for 2 Psychic and an Aurora energy. And that's doing 240 plus 40, 280, which is enough to KO a lot of tag team Pokemon. So that's why I think the Horror Energy Giratina Garchomp combo is so good. And I think that Night Watch is really good mid to late game. And a lot of other GX attacks like GG End, Double Blaze, Darkest Tornado, Clear Vision, Horror House is a big one. I mean, Gengar Mimikyu is really just the main partner for Mewtwo in this list. I mean, most decks, a lot of times, are just going to pop the Horror House and try to Poltergeist, 2-hit KO ADP. Very viable strategy. Just doesn't really, I don't know, it just feels a little bit awkward to me in some matchups, and that's kind of where Clear Vision comes in, especially against ADP. But very good deck. I mean, a very good list. One of my favorite lists to be playing right now, and one of the top 5 decks in our format. However, very hard deck to acquire all these cards. Very, very expensive to get everything, especially the Trep Noir, the multiple Mewtwo's, which are ladder rewards right now. But most of the stuff here is going to be pretty complicated to get it all collected and put into your deck list. So probably not the best deck for new players looking to get into the game, but if you're an experienced player, you have the cards, definitely going to be a really, really good one for sure. Okay. So we're already almost 25 minutes into the video. That's my bad. I actually just want to quickly take a look at the Chill Series Invitational. I'm not going to do a separate video discussing the deck lists here, but I am just going to cover some of the lists here that we haven't really had an opportunity to look too deep to. But if you did tune into the Invitational live stream tournament last night, I do really appreciate that. It was a great tournament. It was a great night. A lot of great gameplay. And big shout out to Vinny Fernandez, who ended up just going all the way and winning with Excadrill Handlock Control. Let's take a look at his list. And this is a list that honestly isn't going to be that successful, like I said, in a normal Chill Series type tournament. But when you're playing in a top 16 double elimination man bracket tournament, without any real match timers, it's extremely viable, especially when you hit like 4 out of 5 of your matches are against Etern, which doesn't have a clear answer for this deck. And I actually had a great opportunity to watch this deck and to see it play, which is definitely pretty fun. The Pidgeotto Airmail, it's going to be our main draw engine. We want to get 2 or 3 of these things on our board. We have Excadrill here, which is going to be used for the Rototiller. Shuffle 4 cards back into your deck. And this is the way that we're going to just consistently go through our deck and not deck out. Well, consistently, like if we're all out of cards pretty much in our deck, we can just Rototiller back the exact cards that we need and then Pidgeotto Airmail a few times and then just pretty much every turn have the same cards that we need back to back. The whole idea of this is we have 2 Chips, so we're going to be able to make sure that our opponent isn't drawing any cards that they want. We have Jesse James, Lieutenant Surge, Weezing to discard cards from their hand, which is going to be really good, so we just pretty much get rid of their entire hand. We have 4 Crushing Hammers, Yell Grunt to get rid of all the energy in their hand. And then, of course, we have just Chip and the Rototiller Airmail loop to kind of make sure they don't ever draw anything, and that's kind of how this deck functions. Definitely really interesting. The 2 Galar Mines and the Wonder Lab are really good stadiums in this control deck. The reset stamp as well, so you can kind of wait late game and just wait until they kind of have like 1 or 2 prize cards remaining, and then we can just stamp them, Jesse James. Then they have no cards in their hand, and we can get the chip block going and just start rototillering. Really dangerous deck for sure. The Yell Horn confuses both active Pokemon, going to be really good, especially just to kind of delay a little bit further. And then we have a lot of energy removal as well, like on top of the Luke Metal and the Giratina, which is going to remove more energy. So very powerful list, a very cool list for sure. I mean, if you guys want to watch this play, definitely just go tune into that live stream video, the VOD of the 6-hour live stream. Vinny played a bunch of matches on camera, so it was definitely pretty fun to watch. Yeah, interesting, a very interesting list. I mean, it's not something I have ever played or maybe ever will play, honestly, but it was super fun to watch it, see play and see success, and Vinny played it really well. So big shout out to Vinny. Another deck that I actually want to take a look at is going to be this Mewtwo and Mewdx GX deck. This is Samo, Trotier Lacasse. Now, this is going to be different than the last one that we saw, guys. So this is actually Galaxy Mewtwo, but it is crossed with a 2-2 Rapid Strike Urshifu lineup. We are calling this Mewshifu, I think is what we were calling it on stream. It's super interesting. Kind of a cross between Galaxy Mewtwo, but the whole idea that, we were mixing things like Dragapult VMAX with Urshifu because the Psychic and Fighting combination is really, really good. It doesn't fit together necessarily as well as Dragapult Urshifu because there's a lot of decks that have to go into Galaxy Mewtwo. But nonetheless, it was actually a really cool list to see, and in my opinion, one of my favorite lists that I saw in this past week. And Simone is a great player, so this is definitely a harder deck to play for sure. Just kind of an awkward mix of cards, so you have to really play properly. But definitely was very interesting, and the success of Simone was actually pretty high. I mean, this dude got what? He got top 4 at this bracket tournament, so definitely pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, that's literally what it is. It's just a mix between Urshifu and Mew, running 3 Rapid Strikes, 4 Aurora, 4 Horror, and that's really all you need in the deck. We're going to be Star Searching. We have 2 Gengar Mimikyus in here, so Star Search and Horror House are your main objectives here, but we still have, Night Watch. We still have Tag Purge. We still have Latios, and we still have Giratina, Garchomp. The Eldegoss in here is pretty interesting for sure, but yeah, I mean, here it is. Very fun list, right? I mean, this one is not something you're going to see every day. I don't know if it'll really catch on, but definitely a very, very interesting deck to see, and it was very fun to watch as well. Very fun to watch as well. We got a couple minutes left. I guess we can go ahead quickly and take a look at maybe a larger tournament which finished up recently. If I can find any down here. What's here? 7th. So Mew Squad. Let's take a look at Mew Squad with 90-something players, which is actually pretty big here. Here, look, Vinny Fernandez. This is the Mewtwo, or sorry, not the Mewtwo, the Snorlax VMAX deck, which not a lot of people, I guess, have seen. I mean, although maybe you've seen a YouTube video on it before, but here's one that actually was recently successful. Not a very great list, honestly, but it's funny that we're running 2 Snorlaxes, the baby Gormandized Snorlaxes. We have the VMAX, and we have Munchlax, so we got all the boys in here. Pidgeotto, Airmail to draw. This deck really just relies on triple accelerations and Cheryl, and we're just going to be sort of hitting for, I don't know exactly what Snorlax can hit for the 3 energies, but we're going to be hitting, tanking hits, and just with buff padding as well, going up to 390 HP. We're weak to fighting, though, which is a little bit dangerous, but we're going to Cheryl heal all the damage, because Triple Excel gets discarded anyway. And I don't even know if we have a way to get these energies back, so I think we just attack 4 times throughout the game is how this deck works. Although we have Snack Search, and that's, I guess, how we're going to get these Triple Excels back. Very interesting nonetheless. But yeah, a very funny list, so that's good. That's funny to watch. What else do we have? We have a Victini deck here. Let's take a look at this Victini deck, which did get top 8 at Mew Squad. It's actually straight Victini VMAX, and I do like Victini VMAX. This is just another way to play Welder. Is it as good as Tempo Zard Blacephalon? In my opinion, not right now. After rotation, it will be. But after rotation, the deck's actually going to look a lot different. So, but here it is. If you guys are interested in Victini, it's a new card. It's a new way to play Welder. It is a really good attacker, a really good option. Just kind of fallen off a bit. This and Rapid Strike Urshifu have just kind of fallen off a bit in favor of more tag team decks like Luke Metal, like Mewtwo, like ADP. So, yeah, I mean, tag team decks are still probably the best decks in the format, unfortunately, but definitely a really good contender for post-rotation is Victini VMAX, and I like this list a lot. Fan of Waves, yep, Mimikyu, I like that. Reshi, Cram, Heatran, Volcanion, all good stuff. All good stuff for sure. So, nice Victini thrown in there. And what won this? 76ers actually won this with his classic Mew 3 Rillaboom deck. This man has played Rillaboom for a very long time. So here we go. This is his Mewtwo grass deck, which we've covered before on the channel for sure. But we're just going to be relying on Super Growth and Rillaboom. We're going to be consistently hitting with Elegant Souls here. We have Dragonite GX to do hit for 270. Tropical Hour GX, if we get 6 energies on, it's going to be detrimental to our opponent. And also having Psychic type attackers and Mewtwo is going to be really, really good. We also have Darkest Tornado GX for some one shots for sure. Beast Game GX as well as what is that? I don't even know what that first attack is. It's like boost something, right? Boosts? I don't know. I forget. The first attack from Pheromosa and Buzzwole is going to be really, really good because it's good against Mad Party specifically. I like the weak guard, 2 capture, 9 grass, 2 swells, 2 big charms, all good stuff. Here it is, Grass Mewtwo. Also probably like a top 5, if not maybe like definitely a top 10 deck in our format right now. But I think we've covered pretty much everything. I mean, we have. About 30 minutes into the video, so we're going to wrap it up. And that was kind of the last week of online tournament play on Limitless. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Matty from Chill TCG. Before we go, though, don't forget to register for Chill Series number 30. 400 Battle Styles packs, free entry. Shout out to PTC GeoZone for sponsoring. This is our first tournament of the new season. It's going to be phenomenal. It's going to be really good. I can't wait. This new season's going to be hype. Definitely gives you guys a chance to start fresh and potentially play in a sort of a season that you haven't had a chance to play in yet, right, and start from the beginning. So I definitely recommend checking it out. Tomorrow night, 6 p.m., Wednesday, 6 p.m. if you're watching this on Wednesday. So here it is. Here it is, guys. All right, I'm going to get out of here. I am. Thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Matty from Chill TCG. You guys have a great night. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe, become a channel member if you want to, perhaps. I don't know. But yeah, we're going to get out of here. And you guys are awesome. So register for the tournament. Link is going to be down in the description below. You can also just go to play.limitless.com. But we're going to get out of here. All right. Peace out, guys. Have a good week. We'll see you tomorrow. And yeah, have a good one.